Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than 5D, the fifth dimension, and the place to be as always. And usually, as usual, I bring you the news to infuse if you so choose to infuse with that light. And this is a time where we should be infusing with the light on the light grid activation. This is part of it. But if not, you have free will, free choice to refuse. Remember, if you do, be prepared though to be fried on the grid. And it's a whole lot of frying going on right now, right? Fish don't burn in the kitchen. That's what I'm hearing, right? So with this, I invite you to please choose to infuse to fry to, I was going to say fry, don't fry. Please choose to infuse with the light and be a part of this light grid activation. Remember, as long as you're doing your soul work, you are lighting up, flickering on the light grid, right? Some of us been flickering for far too long, and it's time to beam me up, Scotty. It's time to really light up, find your lighthouse, find your light colony on the light grid so you can be a part of the divine synergy, which is the collective energy of all that is happening on the light grid. And there are layers to this light grid, but that's a conversation for another day, right? This is the fifth day of a 7-part series that I've been sharing with you all. It's like a sneak peek the into the workshop, which will be next month. So for those of you who haven't had a chance to, this is somewhat of what it looks like. We actually go deeper than that, and I'm actually sharing the pyramid transmutation with you all, which has always been a very helpful tool in transmuting what we need to transmute, because that's what this is all about. The hokey pokey, right? We doing the energetic, the celestial hokey pokey right now, and I know a lot of people feel like they getting poked and joked and stoked and stroked and all of that. So right now it's different strokes for different folks. If you want to get to that next timeline, we got to do some different things, right? So with that said, happy whatever day this is for you, but happy throat crown day, because that's where we are right now. For those who don't know, who haven't been following along, this is a throat chakra day, because what we do is, as the moon is most potent 3 days before and 3 days after, we start 3 days before on the root going on up till we meet in the middle, the bridge of it all at the heart chakra, which was yesterday. And then we're now ascending, we're in our upper chakras, we're going into the upper room, so we're at the throat chakra. So for that, it's throat chakra day. If you have the 5D calendar, you will notice that according to the calendar, today, as Tuesday, is the crown chakra day. So therefore, it's a crown chakra. Now, previously, we've noticed that in the lower chakras, we've had this inter-exchange going on with the lower chakras, where we started with root, heart, and then we saw the flip. So when I say it to you, you're going to see the flip all the way up to the heart. So root, heart, sacral, solar, solar, sacral, and then heart, root. So we actually saw the flip with the lower chakras. So just know that something's being flipped. We're definitely being flipped in the lower chakras, which the lower chakras are our physical body, right? It's all about being more in the body. The upper chakras are more the spiritual chakras. So it's being more in your etheric self, right? In your soul spiritual self. And the lower chakras is more the mind, what I call the mind body complex, right? Or I would say the body soul self. There we go. So the lower chakras, body soul self. Upper chakras is more the soul spirit self. So in the body, there's some interchange happening, definitely. And so we're on this, it's like we're on the highways and byways of the universe. We're definitely at an interchange, especially as the old timelines are collapsing. And this is one of those tools that is geared at helping us. You have many modalities, but this has definitely been one that has helped me since 2020. I was doing this before it became a workshop. What I'm explaining to you, I was doing this every month of 2020, right? And I still do it on my own every month, but I share it collectively quarterly, right? So the next one is in June. The next one after that won't be until September, right? Unless you are part of the Starseed community, because we do it more often than the quarterly notice, so to speak. So with that said, let's dive right into this throat chakra, because we're closing out the pyramid transmutation. We've reached the peak. Just like we reached the peak of our full moon yesterday, now we're at the peak of the pyramid, which is the throat chakra. So with that said, the lower chakras, just to give a little cap of what we've been doing, or for those who don't know, it's a shadow working tool, right? This workshop type of material is a shadow working tool. So if you've never done any shadow work, this is an opportunity to see what it feels like to you, because that's exactly what it is. It's utilizing the full moon. We're using the interactive energies of your 7 energy centers, as well as the celestial bodies as energies as well. And so we are starting with the root, of course, and going on up. It's a full moon transmutation. So we're transmuting. What are we transmuting? Fear-based thoughts and feelings. Notice I'm not saying scary fears. We don't need to know your worst fear, your worst nightmare. What it's about is anything that is not on the love frequency. That is fear-based. So whatever that is that's coming up for you, you have this opportunity now. The full moon, just as it brings up the waters in the earth, it brings up your waters of emotions, the oceans of emotions in you, right? And so most likely you don't have to even dig deep. It's an opportunity to tap into your subconscious, because it brings up these deep emotions. It brings up all the emotions and feelings are a part of the subconscious, right? So it brings it up to you. It's kind of like the full moon, as a cosmic spotlight is saying, here you go. And it brings it up as a nice little gift to you. Here's what's bothering you. Here's what you need to look at. Even though you have probably been ignoring it or putting it under the rug and calling it something else, maybe been in denial, maybe avoiding it. But the energies are now saying it's no more, like, where a lot of us are feeling this. It's saying enough is enough. No more Mr. or Miss Nice Guy. It's not about playing nice. It's not to say be mean, but a lot of times we hesitate to do what needs to be done because we're so busy playing nice or being the good guy or the good girl, whatever it is. So now these energies are saying, listen, we don't have that kind of time, right? The timelines are collapsing, and if you want to get to where you need to be, you got to move efficiently and effectively, spiritually speaking, energetically speaking, right? It's not allowing us to sit back and play with it anymore. If you do, you can choose to do so, but as I said, be prepared to be fried on the grid. You will collapse in those timelines. So doing this work is like voluntarily going in, removing the soot off your soul, and collapsing the old timelines yourself, rather than having them collapse on you. So that's really important to do right now in this full moon. Why I'm sharing this is this full moon in Scorpio is really, really giving access for us to go really deep, with Black Moon Lilith being in Scorpio as well. So we got that Kali Ma energy. We got that off with your head type of energy. And when I say off with your head, I mean to the ego. We got an opportunity to truly have an ego death experience that needs to be had. So if you've never had a ego death experience, here's your opportunity. You're going through one right now, whether you like it or not. That's why things are feeling, icky. It's like, off with his head already. Let that ego go. The ego has a way of spinning a narrative that we feel is to protect us. That's what it's naturally geared at. That's what it does. Its natural job is to protect, right? But the problem is it's protecting something that we don't need protection in anymore. That warranty is expired, and we need to notice that and realize that, because it is expired, because everyone's consciousness is rising. You're knowing more and more about yourself, which means that you can't walk with that narrative anymore. And unfortunately, the ego has identified it, so that's all the ego knows, and the ego doesn't want to let go. And believe me, those parasitic energies are holding on right with it for dear life, because it is its ticket. Right? Your wounds, your narratives, your old stories is a ticket for the parasitic energy, for the desperate energies, the opposition energies to utilize, and they don't want to let that go, right? So within you don't want to let that go, because it's a part of your identity. That's why we got to work on that solar plexus. the identity body. So with that said, let's dive right into sharing what these chakras are bringing up for us, utilizing these energy centers. How have we been using them? So with that said, knowing that, let's start with there's so much we can start with. Like I said, in the workshop, we go deep, and I'm doing my best to condense this and give you the impact of what you need, what you can have to work with, right? So there is the lower chakras that were more in the body. So the interactive activity was working in the earth. So if you're seeing this for the first time, right, patience with me for those of you who've been catching each one. Thank you for your patience, because I have to explain it, every day for someone who's maybe seeing it for the first time. So to go with the root, right? The root is the most physical body. So we have to ask ourselves what we fear, right? And keep this in mind for when I share with you the pyramid transmutation, because we're transmuting that as well. So the physical activity is to go into the earth and pull up any weeds while asking, what is it that I fear? What is it that I fear? And allow it to come up whenever it does, right? It may not come up right away. Take your time. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind. You can't bully the ego, right? We gotta be nice and loosen the grip. Thank the ego along the way. Please remember to do that. I haven't said that in any of these videos. I'm gonna say it now. Please remember to thank the ego. You don't want to bully the ego. You just want to gently let it know, thank you for protecting me. I see where I needed that at that time, but now I need you to sit down. I need to allow myself to feel this feeling so I can get the revealing that I need. I need this truth that is being revealed to me, but I need to grasp it. I haven't been grasping it, right? So, which is more of a sacral chakra, part of it, the feeling, the emotional body. So in the root, we just want to ask, what is it I fear? And allow it to come up. Remove any blocks if you can. Really be open and allow it to come up. If you're having a hard time, you may need to go back and go up into your heart chakra and come back down, because you really have to open your heart and allow the heart to bring the peace that surpasses all understanding, so that you can just have open understanding to what it is that you can't seem to understand, if that makes sense. So with that, you're digging in the earth and asking that question. If a fear comes up, you write it down, right? Then the next day is the sacral, and the sacral is the emotional body, right? And it is all about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, so you can allow these feelings to come up, because the feelings indicate what is really there, right? What has been there, the way that you've identified or internalized it, and it's indicating to you what needs to change, right? So you can change the perspective of that feeling so that it indicates the true perspective rather than the ego's perspective, that is protecting it from some type of unresolved hurt, wound, or whatever it may be, which is incited by the fear. This is why we got to remove the fear. The number one block of the sacral is the guilt. So you want to ask yourself, where am I having any guilt? Even it may be attached to that fear, it may be something different, but where do I have any guilt? And the activity is to go into the earth and now till the soil. Even if you don't have a backyard, use a potted plant. Do some work for a neighbor or something, but do your best to get to some type of earth place, or do a guided visualization. Do a meditation where you visualize going into the earth, guiding yourself into the earth and doing these things, right? So I think I need to make a meditation for that, because I haven't found one on YouTube that particularly guides you into the garden in that way. And I usually do them in the workshops. So with that, you're in the earth and you're tilling the soil, because the soil represents the subconscious, the feelings. So you're allowing yourself to get into your understanding. Usually the dirt is, tough and stuck, because it represents being stuck in your feelings. So you really want to till the soil and aerate that dirt, aerate that soil, right? So get your feet in there. The feet represent understanding metaphysically. So it's about getting your understanding in your feelings. Bring love. Understanding is love. So bring love now into the feelings. Again, you may need to go to the heart for some more love, because the heart regulates the sacral. So whatever it is that you can do, go there, ask yourself these feelings, while you're tilling the soil, what is it, where do I have any guilt? And you can still ask, what is it that I fear if it hasn't come up? And then you come up into the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is now the identity body or the mental body. And it's about your I am. So now this is where you would go into the dirt and you're asking, after you till the soil, now you're pruning, you're doing some pruning. You may be planting a seed or transplanting something, and just pruning and fixing up the identity of this garden or this plant. You're focusing on what is it that you want to be? What do you want to be here? Double checking the garden, make sure you took out anything that doesn't belong in a specific place, whether it's a weed or something else that's growing that you don't want there. What is it that you want to be there? Who is it you want to be in your identity? Right? So with that, now you're allowing yourself to feel through because you've allowed yourself to feel in the sacral and you've changed certain perspectives and whatnot. You're asking yourself now, what is it that through my feelings now I have a true perspective? So who am I really? So not the identity that you want to be at surface level. This is an identity that is identifying with your higher self, right? With what you are here to do, because that's what you're getting out of your sacral now, a true perspective of what you're here to do. So what am I here to do, and who am I here to be? And the number one block of the solar plexus is shame. So you may be asking yourself while you're in the garden still, what is it, where is it that I have any shame? Right? And look really hard and deep. This is one that a lot of people do not like to admit. Oh, I'm not ashamed of anything, but there is, especially if there's any fear or there's any guilt. It's going to have some shame as well. There's something that you don't really want to be, or it feels a bit shameful to be. It in some type of way, it has some shame. So it's to look, where do I have any shame about something, right? And then eradicate that. All right. So let me put this down. So with that is where we are with the solar plexus, and then we make our way up into the heart, and the heart is where. I'm making sure I didn't forget anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. The shame, the guilt. Okay, so bringing it all on up. Oh, the elements. The element for each one is earth in the root, water in the sacral, fire in the solar plexus, and wind in the heart, which is where we are now. Bring it up into the wind, which is now the energy body. The energetic body. This is where everything just moves. All the energy moves in the wind, right? If you look at it, the earth represents the real physical body, because it's the earth. It's the manifestation. Everything manifested is in the earth. You are a manifestation in everything you create. And the sacral, the water, represents how energy is emotions, which is energy in motion. And energy moves and flows through these currencies, right? Whether it be water or electricity, it's a currency, right? And the fire represents the fire, the sun. It represents, that's why it's solar. So it represents the I am of who you are. You're lit up. You are light. We are all light. So it really represents your I am as a light body. And the wind represents the energy, because we don't see energy, just like you don't see the wind. You don't see energy. It moves just like that. It moves and it makes everything move. The wind moves everything, and it moves through everything. And that's like energy. So, and that's the most spiritual, the highest point of those lower chakras is the heart, right? And with the upper chakras, the heart would be the lowest. It's most close to the body, less in the etheric, right? Because it's that bridge. So on the heart now, we may go outside. We have two options. You could do one or the other, or you could do both, because it's the bridge. You can be outside and do some more work in the garden, which will just be beautifying the garden, right? Beauty is also love. Beauty is an indication of love. And not just aesthetics beauty, not just superficial beauty, but just beauty in itself, how you like to see it. So you go and you beautify your garden or your potted plant or your neighbor's yard, and you can go in the house and start doing some cleaning, some cleansing, You may want to sage, Palo Santo, just whatever it is to kind of clear up. Maybe there's some clutter in a space as part of the home that you wanted to do. This is the time to kind of go through that. And those are the things you could do within the home. While on that day as well, you're writing your fear. By this time, your fear would have come up. So you're writing what it is your fear so that you can release it. You can put it in the fire. You probably put it in the fire on solar plexus day if you got it by then. We put it in the fire. We usually do it on the full moon, and we release whatever it is we're letting go, and we pretty much see ourselves washing it under the full moon. Let the full moon spotlight just illuminate it for you, and know that through this understanding you have a will to do something different, right? So you're washing it over, and this is where you have really transmuted the fear into moving into the upper chakras, into let me say it this way, transmuting the fear into transcendence. This is the transcendence. You're dancing in the trance with the stars, with the celestials, with your energy centers. It's all interactive, right? And so now with that, we usually well, I'll do the pyramid transmutation last. Then we come into the throat. Welcome to the throat. The throat chakra is Veshuddha, which has to do with, well, that's the Sanskrit word. I just like to say it, Veshuddha. Right? It's a center of purity and purification. So if you notice, it kind of, the neck is like coming out of the body and going in, like bottleneck and going in. So it's really purifying. It's really, let's say, airtight, light. The wind, we're no longer in any earthly elements, so all the elements for the upper chakras are etheric, right? So the one for the throat chakra is usually, it's the atmospheric body. There we go. It's the atmospheric body. And think of the throat as purification, like the skies, right? That's why I wanted to come out early under my pretty blue. I did start the video a little earlier, but got interrupted. Had to start over. So being in the pretty blue, the blue skies is what I call the true blue. So with that, you're able to tap into the true expressions. The throat is about being in your authentic self, authenticity, truth to yourself, being not just by what you're saying, but in your doing and in your being, right, of who it is that you're here to be, to express. The number one block is lies. So you want to remove yourself from any lies. And we don't purposely lie to ourselves, but whatever it is we're not being aware of, right, is also an untruth, and it holds us in this inauthenticity. So this is about being in your soul's integrity and walking in your truth every step of the way. Be an expression of truth that brings clarity to the soul, right? So, and this clarity and truth is what's going to validate your insight when you move into the upper chakras even more. So this atmospheric body has a lot to do with you. It's personal integrity, personal honor. If there's any out of alignment with this chakra, it's not seeing your truth. Whenever you're not seeing your truth, other people not seeing your truth, gossiping and complaining really throws this chakra out of alignment. So this is a time to really look at that as well. I could go deeper into that in the workshop. But any contradiction, any chronic negativity, any just abuse of the throat chakra, right? So with that, the colors, let me go. The colors are blue, as I said, true blue. The sound is, I did the sounds yesterday, so when you get to here, it's yam, right? Ham, no, sorry, ham. The heart is yam, so when you get here, it's yam. Right? And at this point now, this is where I want to share with you the pyramid transmutation, which is what we've been working on. And this is the fifth chakra, so it's the fifth point, it's the fifth element as spirit, or the breath of life, returning onto spirit. So after the wind comes just expressing everything in spirit. So this is where the pyramid meets at the top. That's why I call it the pinnacle. And it's expressing everything. Let it out of the pyramid. This is your risen light, and it expresses everything at this point. This is why it's expression. So If you've been following along in the pyramid transmutation, on the first day with the root, you started with writing your four I trust statements, right? Going into your higher self. First, you write your fear, and whatever that fear is, you write four I trust statements, but you go into your higher self to write these I trust statements as if you're asking your higher self, what do I need to counteract this fear? And then the sacral, you go into putting your feeling. First, write the feeling of what the fear made you feel like, and then write the feeling of what the I trust statements now empower you to feel like, right? And you can look at the other two videos. I went more extensive in there. And the third one, the solar plexus, you write an I am statement of who you now feel that you are, that is reinforcing your I trust statement and the I feel positive statement. And with that, you should feel empowered. Now, who are you? And don't hold back with your I am. Do not be afraid to call yourself the light bringer, the light warrior, the quantum physics, whatever you call yourself, a quantum healer, paradigm shifter. Be all of that. Be all you can be, but not in the army. Ashe. Be all you could be in this, in the I don't even want to call it a war, but be all you could be. Right? So then on the heart chakra is writing I love and accept, and you're going to write the fear feeling. I love and accept whatever that fear is, XYZ, because I now know. And then you write what you now know, and this is the true transcendence. When you get to the sacral, it's really changing things over, because you're changing the feeling. And then when you get to by the time you get to the heart, it's a true transmutation at this point, because now you see what that fear has come to bring you, right? The darkness comes to bring you the light. The fears come to bring you the love, right? The lies come to bring you the truth. So now you see why, and you write that down, and it empowers you. And then the fifth one is what we're going to express. It has to be an action step. So you're going to write in my being, and then you're going to put an action step. And I usually tell them to put two. Put one action step that is something that you can do, let's say, to prepare, right? Like I will write gratitude I would have a gratitude journal. I will do meditations daily to prevent whatever this fear is, right? And then you want to have another action step of what you will do in the now moment should something comes up and trigger that fear, because things will. Just because you work through this, it won't just be gone in one transmutation. It takes time, and you're removing these layers. So when you write that, write something that, what is it that I can do in the now moment if I'm triggered with that fear? So have something to write, have before. I can't get the word right now. And then something to do in the now moment. And it may look like I will take a deep breath, because you know the breath is the bridge of life, to remember, to be a part of the remembering, and then write an action step of what you can actually do in that now time while you're triggered. And that's going to help you. If you reflect on it, it's going to help you to be the pyramid transmutation that is your risen light. This is your risen light in your I am, and that's going to help you to transcend whatever that issue is. And I guarantee you, if you do this, it's going to help with whatever you're facing right now, along with utilizing the inner childhood healings that I suggested. Please use them. They're very helpful with helping you go really deep. Vicky Howie Chakra Boosters, she does these amazing. I'm using one right now, and there's one for every chakra, 1 through 7, your foundational years. She explains it very well. It's your root chakra, your root cycle years 1 through 7. So do one for each year, so you can get in touch with that 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, all the way up to 7. So you can get real deep on where some of these things are rooted from. Right? And this is what's going to help to remove whatever, because you're probably fighting something you can't see. And if it's beyond this lifetime, then you may need to do a life regression. I do suggest that, because some of the things that we're facing are things we're carrying over. It's a carryover or a carry-on from the past life, and that's what I call karma trauma. That's a whole nother workshop that we can work on as well, probably in the forgiveness workshop. So this is how you work the chakras work all the way up to the throat. Faithfully, I was able to share that throat with you. If there's anything else, activating the throat. The foods to activate this throat for the throat chakra is liquids. Liquids all day, or blueberries, because you can't find much blue foods. I usually do like blue or white foods if I'm going to have something like cauliflower, some onions, cut up something, some rice, or something like that, because it's not much blue foods you're going to find except for blueberries, right? Make some smoothies. There's other crystals that go with this chakra. Is aquamarine, blue lace agate, lapis lazuli, which is really good for truth and total awareness. Blue lace agate is for articulation. Turquoise, like that, you can look them up. You can look up all the chakras. I'm just throwing a few at you. So you can wear blue, express blue, wear blue all day. Light blue candles, like anything to just be truthful. Do something that counteracts any lies that you may have been living. You may say, well, today I'm gonna counteract this lie. I'm gonna uncover this as I go even deeper into myself. So eating those foods will the stones, and as I always say, when you pick stones, look at what calls out to you, because the body knows and the stones know, so they'll call out to you. Is there anything else? Any questions you can ask about the throat? With the throat, what we're usually doing is we're writing a full moon intention, because at this point you've already written your full moon release and released it. So for the throat chakra, now we're expressing what we want to have in our intention. Now that we're releasing something, what do you want to set in the atmosphere, right? This is the atmospheric body, right? Energy moves through the atmosphere. The wind moves through the atmosphere. So look at the atmosphere as what is set, right? So what is in the vibratory field that is set? That is the atmosphere. It's almost like it's the etheric environment, right? And that's what the atmospheric part represents. So however you express yourself has to do with the truth of the vibration and the vibratory field. So it's not about what you say out your mouth anymore. I tell a lot of people this now, especially entering into 5D. Everything is in the field. You have your auric field. You're exchanging information with someone else sitting in your auric field right next to you. So that is the atmosphere. What atmosphere are you in? What atmosphere do you bring? What is the setting of your atmosphere, right? You know how the story has a plot and a setting? Like the atmosphere is the setting of your soul and your spirit as you're doing this work. So how are you expressing yourself? How are you listening? That's another thing. The body parts of this chakra is the throat, the ears, the mouth, the teeth, shoulders, right? Like the top of the shoulders, the neck, the back of the neck, all of that, jaw. So if you have any issues with anything in this area, the ear has to do with communication. You may say, what that got to do with the throat? But when you hear, it's receiving information. So if you have issues with hearing, it's because you're out of alignment with that part of communication. What is it that you're not hearing, right? If you have issues with the teeth though have to do, because it's bones, it also has to do with the root. So if you have teeth issues, it has to do with communication as well as the root. So you may want to look at both of those things, right? If it has to do with the jaw, it has to do with the throat. Everything has to do with authenticity. Are you being authentic within yourself and how you express yourself with others? So the throat chakra is very important in interchange of energies, right? And this closes out our pyramid transmutation. So the other two is just working on us being in the etheric realm even deeper, which we'll talk about, tomorrow or the next 2 days. But this closes out the pyramid transmutation. So review it. And if you have more than one fear, feel free to work more than one pyramid transmutation. And you don't have to do it all at the same time, because the energies are still there. You feel it the week before and up to the week after. So you can utilize that time to work on what you need to. And I suggest working on whatever comes up, especially with this full moon, because this full moon is packing. right? It's packing and it's macking. So some of the things I saw with the full moon. So that closes out the information on the throat. I believe, yeah, an affirmation I can throw out there for the throat. Do I have any affirmations for the throat? It's just how I express myself. I am free to express myself in truth and in my authenticity. I am clear on my expressions and my reflections. Right? I look for, or I express clarity in my expressions. Things like that are affirmations of the throat. Ashe. So let's look at the goodies of this moon, because this moon has been such a cosmic assessment, as I've been speaking about. It's really, we're in this assessment window since the new moon, which was an assessment of what we are manifesting, and this is also an assessment of where we are, what have we come with, right? We have Pluto that's operating like this cosmic, as I said, it's like a magnifying glass, and it's like the sun being in Taurus is like beaming through the magnifying glass and beaming on that particular thing that whatever we're focusing on, or whatever the energies want us to focus on, which is what needs to turn over, right? What is that very thing that you're feeling that whatever it is like, I can't do this no more. Some of you, it may be your job, some may be a relationship, and we need to be honest with ourselves. It's saying to stop. Stop doing what you're doing for whatever reason, that you're appeasing either another person or you're appeasing a part of yourself that is still having fear. Because if you're still holding on to it, the only answer is there's fear. You're in a mind state of lack and limitation about this particular thing. You feel like without this, you're not going to have something else, whatever that is, right? So it's time to release that. And whatever the narrative that your ego has been telling, it's time to break free and break the illusion, because the ego has, spun a narrative that is an illusion. So it's asking you to shake that. Right? And so we have some other things coming up. We have Saturn that's coming in. It's crash landing into joining Neptune in Aries, and Saturn has been closing out its karmic, that whole two years that it's been in, since what, 2023? Yes, that it's been in Pisces, house of Lord of Karma, and the house of Karma was to tear down anything that is not, it's like the popo for spirit, the spiritual popo. It's like, this is a no-no. So it's been tearing all of this down, and this is what we're feeling as it's closing out, and it's entering into Aries. It's closing that out, and then it's entering into the Aries, joining Neptune. And Aries is, fire. Aries is the beginning of the next house, the beginning of the astro. So it's joining what Neptune is coming into, and it's going to be a whole new ball field. So this is one of the middle planets, not the outer planets, that's coming in and saying, hey, let's look at this. Now it's going to be highlighting where we're moving into with Aries. So closing out all that we needed to hold accountability for in our karmic cycle, and now entering into Aries, beginning something new, right? And Neptune is already in there taking the spiritual lead, calling forth the spiritual leader in you, right? So the Saturn is also going to be coming in going, all right, now let's look at this, because some things maybe we're still a little bit shaky about. So it's asking you to look at that as well. Mercury is the communicator, and Mercury, I believe, entered into Taurus. So it's also bringing that, how are we to communicate, which is what I was sharing even yesterday. How are we going to effectively communicate this new timeline? We can no longer be who we thought we were. We're not that anymore. So how are we going to exist as we integrate with this new timeline, accessing this? It's not the way you thought it was, and we can't go back, right? I'm hearing that song in my head, I'm not going back. So there's no going back with these frequencies and these energies. And the other planet, let me remember, Leo is another planet. It's opposition to Pluto. So it is that taking the initiative for what needs to be done. It's at a little T square right there. So there's the T-square of Leo, Pluto, and the moon and black moon Lilith in Scorpio. So they got their own little T-square going on, but I believe Leo has at least made it a little bit further in orbit, but it's still a T-square. So there's these energies that are pulling on us to step into the right path. Have a true assessment of your soul. Go that deep. Go deeper than you have ever gone before, and allow Black Moon Lilith to cut the rug up, to pull the rug from underneath you. It's better we do it voluntarily, right? As I said, because the timelines are collapsing. So allow it to be that very kick that you need to help you ascend to the next timeline. What does all of this have to do with 5D? Everything. Everything. It's helping to usher us into the Aquarian age. Why? Because Pluto is ushering us into the Aquarian age. Being in Aquarius for these next 20 years, it's really helping to bring us in there, landing the plane right in. And that Aquarian age is helping us to get rid of any old, it's the age of the knowing. So it's bringing us in to get rid of, yes, the old ages, like the Piscean age, the age of the ram. We're no longer there anymore. Chiron in Aries is helping with that. And that's another big thing. See, I knew something was missing. Saturn being in Aries is also going to be in the same house as Chiron now. And so it's like I see it as a reinforcer. It's going to reinforce now, like, listen, this has got to go. Chiron is a wounded healer. So it's also, not only is it helping us heal individual wounds in this lifetime, it's also helping you, not only this lifetime, but wounds from your past lives for your individual soul self, but also collectively for the collective imprint that is still carrying out the age of the ram, those shadows from the age of the ram. Chiron is helping us to tear down these shadows that we have been misappropriated as a people, as humanity, since the age of the ram, right? Where we've taken on an identity out of fear and the whole patriarchal rule, and that's why the divine feminine is coming in and just kicking down the doors. And it's not to get rid of the divine masculine, but it's to kick out that misappropriation of the patriarchal rule that came about during that egoic stage of age of the ram, because age of the ram is about Aries, it's about self. So it's about what? Ego. It invites ego. So when not handled correctly, when not living in right action and right course with the earth, with the world, with one another, we bend the ego, and the ego takes a note of its own. So we're undoing all of that now. And those shadows were carried into the Piscean age, which also skewed the message of Yeshua, of the age of the believing and the thinking, because you're supposed to believe in yourself and not in, the age of the ram as in a shepherd following somebody outside of yourself. That's why it was all about teaching you to be fishers of men. Fish, the Piscean age. But there were shadows. Those shadows followed into the Piscean age. And it wasn't until now, this is why Yeshua would say, when the Comforter comes, and that is the age of Aquarius. That is what is bringing all of this right now, because it's bringing us to humanity again. It's bringing us to the future. It's about the future as well, with Uranus being that planet of future that rules Aquarius, right? And as I say, Uranus reminded me that is what is also bringing about the change in the earth, in Taurus, which is an earth planet, right? Put all this together, we could see a lot going on in the celestials. So doing things like this energy work, shadow working, or what I'm sharing with you, is helping to undo what needs to be done in you, helping to remove the layers off of you individually, so that we can collectively remove the layers off of what needs to be removed, so we can ascend into our next timeline. This is not about getting caught into details, right? This is what the South Node in Virgo wants us to be done with. Do not allow the details to hold you back. All those little fine little details, they do not matter in spirit. We want to look at the bigger picture. North Node in Pisces, the bigger picture, right? And this is what this whole little celestial dance is guiding us. It's all a guidance. So know your natal chart so you can know how you show up. What is it for you to do? What changes you can make with you? Because everything starts with you. We can't change anyone else out there. But what can you do that's for your best, highest good, as per what your soul has come here to do? You know, we all chose to be here for the fifth dimension showdown. So it's showdown. It's going down, basement. So this is that time to get in there and go down deep into the burrows of your soul and have that phoenix rising, right? You might be crawling around like, Scorpios, the lower aspect is crawling around like a scorpion. But when you allow that death to rebirth transformation to happen, which is what Pluto's revelations is highlighting, right? What we need to have entering into Aquarius, things need to die within the self, the individual self, so that we can step into that the humanity collaboration in the right way when you remove these other things out the way. So allowing this death to rebirth to happen so you can rise like the phoenix. That's the next evolved aspect in Scorpio. It wants you to have the death of rebirth. So have that ego death. Some of us need to have multiple ones. If you know what it feels like, you already know. Yes, this is another ego death moment and opportunity to remove another layer off so you can transcend and move into that timeline. Remember, I said what holds us back is a contraband in the soul. So yes, when you do anything like this with your soul work, this is not about fluff. This is not about just doing spiritual rituals like, oh, I lit this, I lit my candles. No, the energies want you. It's about true heart vibration. So you can say what you want, you can do what you want, but if it's not a vibratory match in the vibratory field that is asking for truth resonance, that is asking for authenticity in this field and truth resonance, this is why we have to operate from the heart and true heart vibrations. This is the assessment. So be assessed. Let that moon in Scorpio assess how you are behaving in the outer world of Taurus. Taurus is highlighting what's happening in the outer world. Where are your values? Let that full moon assess that for you truthfully, not according to what you say, but what is being felt by the energies, what is being felt in the field, because that is the truth and that is real, which is only true, right? So be a part of true time reality, be in that zone. This is not going to work if you're in the zone of ideal time reality or even real time reality. You got to get beyond real and get true, right? Get out of the ideal to become real, to become true. Like elevate and get to that true time reality. Ashe. So that's the great assessment. That's what's happening. Happy Throat Crown Day. And faithfully, this is helping you out in some way. Remember, if you like any of the information, if it helps you in any way, we will be doing the actual workshop next month with the next full moon. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your beautiful night till we meet again in our insight for the third chakra, the third eye chakra. With that, each one reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.